Aloha and welcome to today's Goddess Corner. Today, Jupiter 1111 and I will be discussing different physical ways we like to accentuate our goddesshood, our divine femininity. So, tell me. We researched a little bit of the history, we found out about some really cool stuff about the beauty industry and
Mhm.
what they used to do at the origin of makeup. Woo! I
Yes.
love how Jupiter does her makeup. She always has such fun looks.
I love I got that from my mom. I remember growing up, my mom always, it's so funny because now she's the polar opposite. She actually looks like you. She loves having like this soft, beautiful skin, and it's just very, very natural. She barely wears anything now. But when I was growing up, it was like, well, I'm gonna be almost 50. So 40, I'll be 46 soon. So
Oh,
it was
good
like
job.
this, like
Wait.
I like to say it now because I don't like, most days I don't look it. So so she used to have, back in the 80s and the 90s, it was like, these beautiful blues and greens. And I remember looking at her face and especially her eye makeup, and she would have all these, like, it looked like a mosaic, and she was so good at it. And she really loved matching everything, her eyeshadows to like her outfit, and she Virgo to the T, everything matched from head to toe. It was matching. And so I remember watching her and I was like, oh wow, mom's such a star, the way she looks so beautiful. And so I always liked it, and then I ended up doing some modeling. So then I loved it even more. So it was just a lot of fun to play makeup. But there's a lot of things that you can do that you just do things that feel good. And so we're going to talk about some of those physical things, some simple things that you can do to really just activate your inner goddess, but activating your inner divine feminine by doing some simple things. It doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to take a long period of time. Like I was talking to April, like some of my favorite things come from the dollar store or inexpensive from Amazon. So I'm going to show you a couple of those things. And then April's going to go into the adorning of like with oils and stuff, which is such a nice way to pamper yourself, which actually leads back to the first episode of creating that pocket of peace. Like even in that, when we talked about at length about the pocket of peace, adorning yourself with the oils, and she's going to tell you more about that in a minute. That is a really beautiful way of just taking some time for yourself and just be like, yes, all these beautiful things that you can do for yourself, and it doesn't take that long.
Well, how about we start with that? I'll start with the adorning real fast because it's kind of like the template for just keeping your skin really fresh and supple as well. Sweating is actually a really good thing too. So, working out gives you the endorphins and stuff that you need and actually helps work your pores and like release different toxins from your physical body. And so, it has this really nice way of allowing your skin to breathe. Now, because it is breathing, and it really does need to be supplied with like extra moisture, and that was one of the things that came up in my research or our research about beauty and health is they would adorn their bodies with different animal fats or plant fats in order to kind of keep that moisture as well as a lot of different types of sun exposure protection and stuff of that nature. And I like to take it so far as to, same as the messages in water, the messages in oil, the stuff we're blessing our skin with. And taking that time to kind of sensually adorn yourself. Now, sensuality isn't necessarily related to sexuality. Sensuality is about um, feeling that finer aspect of life and the connection with the body. And so I like to, rub myself from head to toe, take the time to give myself the moisture because this organ is the one that's going to keep me through a lifetime, and I get to honor and respect it. Um, and I love honoring my temple that way. So I also like to use different essential oils. Now, when my child was first born, I kind of cut down on the really smelly ones because children, they use everything by smell. That's why they start crawling towards your nipple right away because they're like, oh, I gotta survive milk, So they love that smell of you. They're not so much thinking about, oh, funky versus not funky, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't want to muddle or overload his senses. He just came from a fresh little, he was inside, so he doesn't really need too much smell. So I started slowly incorporating other smells. You know, we've got our classic lavender, which is always calming and relaxing. And this with a little bit of coconut oil or olive oil. It's just really nice to put on the temples, etc. I have other oils too that I really like. You know, they have different blends. Like you can get like throat chakra blends. I make my own oil blends and stuff like that. I've been making my own skincare products for over 20 years just because, well, that'll be it for another video. But, you know, just carrying a nice little vitamin E. Vitamin E, oh, that's kind of hard to see. I don't know how they do that. I was like, what is that? I'm just covering up the camera. I don't think I did that right. Anyway, just trust me. It's vitamin E. And just a few drops of that go a really long way. I mean, even just oiling your nail beds, you can say positive affirmations while you're doing it, like I am safe, I'm protected, I am loved, you know, I love my body. And this really helps put you in tune with yourself, and it raises your frequency a little bit, which we'll get into in another video. But this is a great foundation for putting on a beautiful, beautiful canvas like our dearest Jupiter 1111 here. Who knows all, she works it. She works from fairy tale princess to late night boudoir. You go through
Well, yes. It's so fun. I just love it. It's so fun being a girl because it's like you could be your own actress, and you could. That's the beauty of, you know, being a feminine, that just by the change of an eye makeup, right? Just by a change of a lipstick, even if I have like a red lip, it's going to give it a completely different feel, a completely different look. And that's the beauty. I remember when I used to do Mary Kay almost 20 years ago, that was one of the things they said. They're like, you know, sometimes you can't afford a new dress, but you can afford a new lipstick. And you'll be surprised how having the right lipstick that really brightens up your face and makes you feel empowered really changes your mood. And what's a really good lipstick? You know, it can cost $5, it can cost $10. It's really at a price point anybody can afford. So it's, again, creating those things, like bringing those experiences. What makes you feel beautiful? If you're not sure where to start, they just, you know, like, you know, April's skin is beautiful and glowing. You know, she's not wearing anything on her face, and it's just like, wow, it's just like so pretty. It's almost like you want to touch it. You're like, you don't want to be rude in the street. You're like, oh, can I touch your skin? But it's but it's beautiful and it's glowing. And, you know, part of it, we understand it is an inside out work. She takes care of her body. She puts good things in it, so then it reflects on her skin. But it's, you know, it's a heart thing, so it really comes through your pores. But you can do some practical things like adorning yourself with the oils. That's your peace point in just doing that. I have like some things that actually that I like to use, like from even the dollar store. And I was talking to April, she's like, we don't have a dollar store over there. But there's always things that you can find and try and see if it works for you. It doesn't have to have a high price in order for it to work for your skin. So you can always just do, if I do have sensitive skin, it's not hypersensitive, but it's sensitive. So if you're concerned when you get something that maybe is a little, you know, look at the ingredients, check the smells and everything like that, and just put a little patch here and, you know, try it there and see if that works for you. So one of the things I love to get at the Dollar Tree is this Freeman cleansing clay mask. So it has charcoal and probiotics on it. So that's, I mask, you know, twice a week with that. Another thing I love is this foaming acne scrub. And even if I don't, every once in a while I get a face demon. I had one over here, and I was like, what the hell? I am not a teenager. I was like, what's happening there?
I saw one and I was like, oh, just don't.
But one of the things you want to see, even though it says acne, is salicylic acid. So salicylic acid, which is the main ingredient for a lot of things, for 2%, it's a way to gently slough off your skin. So this works brilliantly, and I get it at the Dollar Tree.
April, the sulfur soap from the Botanica.
Oh yeah,
for acne.
See, for acne. So that's another good one. She talked about vitamin E. This is one of the best vitamin E oils that I've ever had. And actually, my sister and I got this. She bought it. I was visiting her one day, and actually put some, and she adorned her hair with it. She just put a little bit in her hair, and her hair was just like smooth, and it was like the right kind of shine. I was just like, I want to play with your hair. I was like, what you put in your hair? And she's just like, oh, this vitamin E. I was like, where'd you get it? She's like, oh, the dollar store. I'm like, oh, shut up. Really? It's a really, really great vitamin E oil. So that's what I do for that. And then, um, you know, my skin is used to it. I have two different kinds. One that I got my daughter on, which is a glycolic ultra pure facial pads. I got these at Amazon, so that's under $25, and you get, like, I do it every day, but people are like, oh, you do it every other day. I I'm always sloshing off my skin. It's good. She uses a 20%. I'm used to it, so I use a 35%, and it's a facial peel. So it's just like peeling off the skin. And then I use
Do you
this
use
is
it
when,
any,
like,
like your elbows and stuff?
you can use it anywhere. Yeah, my daughter uses it on her face and down her neck, and then she has some acne here, so she's starting to use it in the rest of her body. Now, this one here is the 135%. It does have a strong scent to it, so if you're sensitive with that, you might not want. Plus, if you haven't used these before, you probably want to start at the lower at 20% anyway. But you get it even if you do it like every couple of days or once a week. You get 50 of them in there. So it's going to last you a really long time. So even 50 pads, go through one a day, it's going to last almost 2 months. So this is a really great thing that you can add. So we'll use the dollar store cleanser, and then we'll go ahead and do something like, one of these pads, let it dry, and then we'll add this as a moisturizer. Or we use coconut oil, and the organic coconut oil that we like to use is from Aldi. So you get like this big jar for like $5. So it's like all these little things, and I use very little of this. It's like about $6 on Amazon. It's called Fioria. So it's I can't even use a whole pump because that's one pump and that's a lot. But it's a full coverage, so you can see even
Oh,
here it's like
wow.
a full coverage. So because I use all these other things, I don't need as much. But look at how much coverage you get from one pump. So I use half a pump for my whole face. And that
Wow.
gives like a really beautiful coverage. So it's just like all these little things that don't cost a lot. But what it's really having you do is just slow down. Slow down, adorn your body, appreciate your body by just doing some fun things for yourself. Create that little pocket of like, this is me time. I'm gonna activate my inner feminine by just doing something beautiful. Even like scents. Like one of my favorites is also from the dollar store. It smells like there's like people like follow me around with this scent, but seriously, they don't know I get it at the dollar store. It's a knockoff from a perfume that I like that's $250 an ounce. I'm not paying that. You'll be surprised when you just go and take yourself shopping, walking around. Remember window shopping when we were little? Just go and window shop and find some beautiful things just to try out. It's fun. Just go and try some things out.
And it's not about what you don't have. It's about the opportunity that you can even just kind of enjoy the space and
Yes.
creating the mental space. Now, I'm sure that if somebody, wink wink, watches this video and decides they want to buy it for her, they could. I'm sure she's open to receiving it, but at the
Yes.
same time she doesn't
Flower
feel
bomb.
exactly, she doesn't feel like she's without just because she doesn't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Well, they're playing my song, so I guess this beauty minute.
Yes, yes. Her baby. And that's the thing is like, right, a lot of you have like small children, you have children at home, you don't know when you can create that time. Create the time. You will be a better mother when you mother yourself first. So take some time, adorn your body, appreciate it. And until next time, which will be very, very soon. Love you. Bye now.
Aloha.